Hello, Guzzin affiliates and associates, and welcome to your Week 12 Fantasy Football Recap. My name is Michael the Sleek Greek Kajapanos, and I'm here to present you what went down in a very fun and very fresh Week 12. And locations where we're filming right now is unknown, so don't even question it. But we might have some things in store for you this episode, so stick around. We'll be excited to present it to you. Welcome back, Guzzin affiliates, and first things first, we're going to kick things off with the notable Week 12 NFL moments. We're going to kick it off. Shedeur Sanders starts this week and gets the dub against the Las Vegas Raiders. What a game, what a performance. You got Myles Garrett talking up very highly of him. Might be the future, so as much as he was shit on in the draft process and everything, are the Browns really in it now? We'll see, so time will tell. In other notable news, Alvin Kamara is out with a knee injury. We don't know how severe yet. No word on that yet. There's a big waiver wire pickup, which we'll get to as well. But keep that in mind. The Saints already struggling a lot this year in a really crappy division. Kind of fighting for the playoffs, not really. But Kamara being out, he hasn't really done a lot this year. He's out now. Well, we'll see. Season might be over for him. So another notable thing, I think George and the G's have him. So might affect their playoff chances and their season. So keep that in mind. Next, we have what a game it was. The Giants versus the Lions. Jameis Winston balled out, even caught himself a touchdown in what a spectacular play that was. Not enough, though, as the Lions just are that dominant in a nice overtime win. So Jahmyr Gibbs also had himself a game, as he has almost every week. So what a performance there. Another notable news, we're going to talk about the two choke jobs that affected me the most. The Colts versus the Chiefs, and as I bragged about it last week that the Chiefs fandom and kingdom and everything about them was over, they come back and beat my Colts, and devastated. But we bleed blue, so the season continues, and we look forward to winning the division, hopefully, fingers crossed. And last but not least, the Eagles choke a 21-0 lead to the Cowboys. Very rough, especially being in office this week in Philly. One Cowboys fan in the office really made it known, and all the Eagles fans were dead silent. So it was a rough season, or a rough game for the Eagles. It's been a really rough season, even though they're winning. It's been ugly, to say the least. So we'll see how this goes as the rest of the season continues. So there we go. That is the notable moments. Now we're going to kick it off into our next segment. Welcome back, Guzzin affiliates and associates, and welcome to this week's recap. Now, I'm really excited to get into this week as a lot of things happen. A lot of stipulations are occurring. Big next 2 weeks, and it all kicked off with Week 12. So let's get right into it. Vin Ezekiel Elliott versus Justin Tucker Loves Nautilus. Big win for Vin Ezekiel Elliott as Vanessa now moves to 8-4. I think locks up a 99% chance of making the fantasy playoffs. It's a big deal. No one else is locked in yet besides CD's nuts, so that's another big thing to note. But Justin Tucker Loves Nautilus takes an L, 61-109. Tough game. Again, almost no one got past 12. I don't think anyone actually got past 12 points for Dimitri's team, and it's just as rough as the allegations against Justin Tucker, which, fun fact, had a workout with the Saints. He's no saint of mine, so it's crazy that he got a workout with them, but it is what it is, I guess. But Vanessa moves to 8-4, truly almost cementing herself in as a playoff spot. Great game. Everyone on that team. Jalen Hurts, even though the Eagles lost, had a great fantasy performance, as he usually does. And just 100% from the field, basically. It was over, basically, Sunday after the first game when no one put up points for Dimitri's team. And it is what it is. It's been that way for Dimitri this season. It's been tough. L after L. Even 1 week, he almost won first place in most points. Didn't get it and really hasn't improved since. So, very tough season there for Dimitri, who's officially eliminated from playoff contention. Speaking of eliminated from playoff contention, we have the G's versus Vice Commish. And no, it's not the G's. It's Vice Commish officially eliminated with a 125-121 loss. A great game all around. Wonderful performances. Came down to the wire. What a waiver pickup in Emmanuel Wilson for the G's. I mentioned it last week. What a pickup it was this week. And he won him the game, basically. 25.5 points in his first game without Josh Jacobs. No, Josh Jacobs may be coming back next week. Led to an interesting waiver wire, which we'll talk about in a bit. But the G's take the dub and move one step closer to hopefully securing a playoff fantasy spot. I believe they have about 15% chance, which we'll talk about in a bit too. Now, tough loss for Vice Commish. But Vice Commish, even though they're out of the league, for the chances of making the playoffs, big moves made, and we'll talk about that as well. Next, we're going to get into one of the best games of the week. I enjoyed it so much because of what it means. The Deacon Johns move to 7-5 now, and they take down, this is our hedge, this is our team, we bleed blue, Will, and Doria wins 148-71. Tough game for Will's team, man. Not a lot of points put up. When the defense is scoring the number 2 amount of points on your team, it's going to be a rough week. But man, it wasn't even a question. You had Jahmyr Gibbs nearly putting up, I think he did actually, 75% of Will's points comparatively. 49.9, basically 50 points. Not to mention the Chiefs just kind of routed my Colts. So it didn't really help in that sense that a lot of points were scored by Rashee Rice and Patrick Mahomes. So the Deacon Johns really put up a stellar performance. Playoffs are getting cemented now. Deacons have 94% chance. Will is falling down with, I think, less than a 70% now, and they're both 7-5. So that's saying a lot about who has a chance to sneak into that last 4th round spot. So let's get into this now. The next game, this was more bragging rights for sure, and it could lead to some implementation into the playoffs. So we'll see. Lads Lackeys is on a 3-game win streak, takes down Kirk Guzzins. Jordan beats John, 118-113. Performance after performance after performance. Lads Lackeys are coming back, and at least bragging rights. There's no chance they make the playoffs, but bragging rights alone, they are having a way to end the season, and I'm very happy for them. It's enough to rag on them for 9 weeks straight, but when it's the 10th week and on, he's had enough of it. So Jordan, you're earning my respect. So now John talked a lot of schmack, and in that schmack talking, he took an L. So it happens. A lot of bragging in the group chat. Jordan was saying he officially eliminated John from the playoffs. Technically, he has 7% chance of making it. If he wins out and some other teams lose, there is that wiggle room. So don't give up anything, John. It is what it is. But congratulations on the win. And tough L, John. But it's not over until the fat lady sings. And I'm not singing yet. And last but not least, Stefan versus CD's Nuts, Team Edley. Steven and Stephanie versus Eddie and Allie, and what a game it was. 102-99. This looked in the bag for Stefan. Tough loss of Baker Mayfield at quarterback puts him at a rough disadvantage. Last player down about, I think, 10 points. Tedero McMillan for CD's Nuts puts up 10 points, gives them a 3-point advantage, and that is the game. Congratulations, CD's Nuts. 11-1 now. Stefan falling out of playoff contention now. Someone who had a really strong middle of the season, struggling in some recent weeks, 5-7. Still a chance there as well, just like there is for John, but it's getting tougher now that we're 2 weeks away from the start of the playoffs. So CD's Nuts really cementing themselves to the number 1 seed. We kind of knew this going in. Jackson Smith and Jigba is just going off, and it's amazing to see. And now we're going to get into some big news in this next frame regarding CD's Nuts and Vice Commish. Here we go. Welcome back, Guzzin affiliates, and this is the big event we've all been waiting for all season. I've been begging for it. In the league, we have our first trade. Big deal, big mega deal, especially with what it means. Vice Commish trades CD Lamb to CD's Nuts in exchange for Jackson Dart and Drake London. Now, this is a big deal. I honestly think it's one of the fairest trades I've seen in a long time. A lot of drops CD Lamb is having, but he has a lot of up-ceiling potential. I mean, George Pickens and him are really doing well on the Cowboys, and they're trying to make a playoff spot. So they're going to be competing. So very strategic in CD's Nuts, CD Lamb. Oh, my God, I can't even get him straight anymore. And Jackson Dart Vice Commish needs a quarterback. So Jackson Dart is a big win there, and then Drake London coming in for a wide receiver replacement who he's also been balling. He is dealing with an injury, but eliminated from playoff contention. If Drake London comes back, I mean, it could be something by week 14. If Vice Commish wants to eliminate someone, they have the opportunity. So thank you for a wonderful trade. It was great to see it. I was so excited to see it in the league group chat and everything, and big implications that can happen from this. I mean, CD's Nuts getting CD Lamb. I mean, try saying that 5 times really fast. I can't. It could mean that they guarantee themselves a win in the playoffs. I mean, you have Josh Allen as your quarterback. You don't need Jackson Dart anymore. Another waiver wire pickup. That's why you listen to me on these recordings. And you have a chance to really take the lead if CD Lamb has the number 1 wide receiver performances he's had in years, and we know he can put up. So a wonderful performance there in terms of trade value. I'm so excited to see what this means. But here we go, man. We are right in the thick of it. The trade deadline is over. If this is the one and only trade, it might be the one that wins the league. So congratulations to both parties here, knowing what they had in value and what they needed. Here we go, man. It's going to be a great fantasy playoff season. All right, Guzzin affiliates, we're going to get into your Week 12 waiver wire pickups. And like I mentioned already, we had some interesting waiver wire pickups this week. Now, we are in Week 12. It's thin as hell, but there are some key notable things here to keep in mind. Let's talk about what was on the waiver wire and what isn't anymore. Devin Neal, the running back backup to Alvin Kamara. Again, could be big, could be small. It could be the breakout of the year. It could just be some filler right now, right? Alvin Kamara really hasn't had a season. The Saints really haven't had a good season. The run game is non-existent. The pass game is non-existent. If something happens with this player, it's truly a breakout. If it doesn't, it's not a shocker. So, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Devin Neal falls there first. Next, Kenneth Gainwell. He's been having a wonderful performance for the Steelers. The Steelers are trying to make the playoffs in real life. So obviously the fantasy value there is increased as he gets in the passing game and the run game. And if Jaylen Warren keeps facing some injuries and he's getting cycled out, Kenneth Gainwell really has a chance to step up and be a hero at the end of the fantasy season. Not to mention that was a G's pickup. Not shocked. Here's where I am shocked. Emmanuel Wilson, who just won the G's the game last week to help them get into the playoffs or at least have a chance to, on the waiver wire now, dropped them. Now, I think Josh Jacobs is coming back, but I mean, Josh Jacobs, it's a knee injury. He could easily come right back out. Him being on the waiver wire is worth a bench spot, really, especially if you're still competing. So keep that in mind. He clearly put up a game, 2 TDs. This guy is good. Shocked that they dropped him, but it was for Kenneth Gainwell, so, give and take is there. Next, it's a big Broncos country let's ride pickup this week. The defense and Bo Nix are both out there. Broncos really fighting for that playoff spot, and they're really doing well. This could be the season the Broncos take it all the way. A lot of people have them there. And then they're both available, so keep that in mind. And last but not least, if you do need another running back, as if there's not enough crap out there already, here's one that isn't as crappy. Trey Benson, the Cardinals running back, coming back from IR. You got DeMarcado, who's crap. He's ass. He's still out there. They really don't have a running game since James Conner got injured. Trey Benson might be the guy that just kind of cleans it up for them. If they keep in their quarterback that's starting now over Kyler Murray, if they keep throwing it to Trey McBride, they're going to need that run game to follow suit. Trey Benson's that guy. So just keep that in mind for your waiver wire pickups week 12, especially for those competing, especially if you want to be an asshole and take those waiver wire pickups that team needs who's trying to make the playoffs. It's all about strategy, guys. Management is key. As much as it is the players playing the game, getting you points, it's also what you can do on the back end to kind of compete internally. So keep that in mind. That's why people like the G's win. A lot of the time, they have these chances to even make the playoffs now is because they've been waiver wire pickup kings recently, and they are really looking to make an impact where they can. So there we go. There's your Week 12 waiver wire pickup, and let's get into your next segment. Now, I am very honored to bring you the best team of Week 12. And this week, by a landslide, the Deacon Johns take it home with 148 points. And when TSG News asks them for a quote, you know they come with heat. And here's what we got. So this is a two-parter. This is a quote and a subsequent video, so keep that in mind. This is the reaction. The video will be added, but the reaction is this. It's me when Hadge's prophecy of the Deacon Johns potentially making the playoffs and even more, potentially winning the whole thing could actually be true. Here we go.
Okay, let's go.
And there you have it. The Deacon Johns really want to win this thing. And if it's anything for me, I'm very honored that they've taken my nice words and kindness and truly listened to it and taken into account. And now they're in this opportunity where they're in the fantasy playoffs at this moment and really looking strong to end the season. It's super exciting. The prediction was there. They were struggling at the beginning of the season, but the numbers didn't lie. And I meant it. I knew they had a chance, and they kept heading in the right direction. They've been top scorer many a weeks, so it's not like they've been struggling to get these wins. I'm so excited for them. Clearly well-deserved. Doria's been killing it. It's the management that really gets you there. That's something Jordan should have taken account from his fiance, soon-to-be wife. But Jordan doesn't respect women. You could take that as a quote from me. But he does respect me because he has to, because I own him. I legally bought the rights to him at an auction in Falston, Maryland about 3 weeks ago. So there you go. That's the reason. But yes, very exciting week for Doria. This isn't about Jordan anymore. It's about Doria, the Week 12 best team in fantasy football. So proud, so excited. And let's see what they can do in the playoffs, man. They are a weapon and a wild card. And it's no shocker here to me that they are in it and competing at this high of a level. So the Deacon Johns, let's see what happens, man. Once you make those playoffs, can't wait to say you secured it. And let's see what happens in those playoffs. It's going to be some fun games. So congratulations again. All right, so we've been talking about it. It's time we kind of break it down. We've been talking about the playoff picture for a while now. It is week 12. We are heading into week 13 and 14. And after that, the playoffs start. So let's see who has the chances of securing it and where we fall in that line. Now, we're going to look at the 3 eliminated teams off the bat. We have Vice Commish officially gone after this week. Same with Justin Tucker Loves Nautilus and Lads Lackeys, who's been gone for a hot minute. 3-game win streak, though. Let's not forget that. But still, taking L's too many times in a row. Tough to come back. So we have CD's Nuts locked in at the top. 99% chance for Vin DeZico Elliott, a.k.a. Vanessa, and a 94% chance for the Deacon Johns. Will, at 7-5, is still struggling and at a 76% chance. So not below the 70% chance like I thought. But that means next in line, which is scary as hell to say, the G's with 14%. A win and a loss and a win and a loss in these last 2 weeks for both teams respectively could be the changing point, and George can sneak into that 4 spot, maybe even get a higher seed because he's not that far behind even the Deacon Johns. So a lot of implications that come into this. Now, I think Deacon Johns has the tiebreaker over Will as well. So if they have a tied record and points for and points against are accounted for, I think they take the win there. So keep that in mind, Will, too, as you finish up your season. Big deal ahead. So I've said it before, I've said it again, the G's are sneaking in there. It is a scary sight to see, especially when you've lost to them 2 years in a row and that PTSD has not gone away. So some chances still, Stefan, Kirk Guzzins, they both still have chances, less than 10% for each. So it's not over yet, but at this rate, at this late in the season, if they don't have any major pickups and the trade deadline is over, it might be tougher than most. So it's never over, right? Like I said, Fat Lady hasn't sung, and that Fat Lady is me. But it's going to be tough. Now, one thing I wanted to mention is I did get a message from an anonymous source that rhymes with Dimitri Dobbs, but we have CD's Nuts on fraud alert. When looking at the points for and the points against, they don't even have the most points for, but they have the least amount of points against. Only 1,100 points scored against them, less than everyone else, not even like a second place, right? They are possibly on fraud watch. Now, they have been having high scoring weeks. They've been really up there. The trade might help them now, but keep that in mind. 11-1 is a strong position, but they might not be as strong as people consider them to be. The numbers, one thing, could be weaker than we expect. So that is something to take away. That is something I wanted to note. Thank you to my anonymous source. But yeah, that is something we can keep in mind for the playoff picture. They might be the 1 seed, but they might not last that long in the playoffs if it truly is fraud watch. So keep that in mind. In this week's segment, I'm going to bring you a special guest. This special guest, many of you know, many of you love, and we're going to call this segment this week, the Koozie Corner. Now, without further ado, here comes the man of the hour, Koozie, to give you his prediction, his thoughts, his fantasy feedback, whatever he knows little about this league. Let's see what he has to say. All right, and welcome Koozie Hajipanos. Now, Koozie, thank you for joining us. I have a few questions for you. I'm hoping you can answer. One, let's just talk NFL. Who do you think is probably has the best chance of winning the Super Bowl this year?
Well, I think the team with the best chance of winning the Super Bowl, although they haven't played that well, is the Eagles. It's going to be, I think, a playoff game between the Eagles and Detroit to see who gets in the Super Bowl. In the AFC, I think it's going to come down to the Bills and Kansas City, and I believe the NFL is going to rig it like they usually do with the referees to have Kansas City get back in the Super Bowl.
I agree. We have very similar takes. Now, I don't know how much you've been keeping up with the season, but do you have any MVP picks for this year of who's been balling out, who's been playing well? Any thoughts? Any underdogs? Any thoughts at all?
Well, I think I really like Jamar Gibbs, the running back for Detroit. I think he really is a special player. But and the quarterback for Denver, I think, he's played very well, Bo Nix. So I think they have a great shot. But there's a lot of great players, and it's hard to say. There's still much of the season to go. So I think anything could happen.
Yeah, it's something about Bo Nix I really like, yo. I know that for sure. Now, Kuzi, last item here for you. This is fantasy football related. Now, you don't know much, if anything, about the league, but right now we have 4 playoff spots open. 1 is locked in. We have Team CD's Nuts, a.k.a. Team Allie and Eddie, in first place right now. And then fighting for the last 3 available spots, we have the Ezekiel Elliott's, Vanessa Mavrodi's team. We have the Deacon John's, Doria's team. And then we also have This Is Our Hadge, This Is Our Team, We Bleed Blue, Will Mavrodi, with a sneaky George Minas and Georgia Minas, about to be Georgia Minas, creeping up in that 5th place spot. Now, do you think, as it stands, do you think these playoff teams have a chance to secure themselves and go into the playoffs now? Or do we think a sneaky G's pop into that little 4th spot, take over, and do you think they come back and win the fantasy league? What is your thoughts?
Like Kansas City, I think the G's always got a chance. You really just, you can never count the G's out. So, I really think there's a great chance to sneak in that last spot. So that's my prediction, that unfortunately one of the folks there now may slip, but I think the G's got a great shot to make that last spot.
Thank you, Kuzi. That is a very honest take. I appreciate your time. And that is the consensus of most of the league. So I understand that wholeheartedly. So thank you again for joining us. You definitely made the people smile. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Guzzin affiliates, I hope you enjoyed that last segment. Something new, something fresh, adding it to the list. But in one of my final segments, my favorite segment, we have In TSG News. And nothing crazy this weekend. I currently got to see at Peddler's Village in PA. I got to spend time with 2 current fantasy football playoff contenders, Will and Vanessa. So that was a very fun weekend. Thank you both for joining me. John and Molly, we wish you could have made it, but it was fun while it lasted up there. It was a great time, great experience, great meal, and great laughter and love. So it was a wonderful time. Thank you both. Can't wait to see everyone else this weekend. Speaking of this weekend, the other thing in TSG News, we have a wedding we are going to celebrate. And I'm so excited to be there with everybody. Might have a little special thing planned in mind for the league for next week, so keep that in mind. But it's going to be a fun weekend full of drinks, laughter, and love and celebration. So I can't wait to see everyone there. It'll be a fun Saturday, fun Friday too if you're going to be there, fun everything. And then without further ado, it has been a pleasure presenting the Week 12 recap. My name is Michael the Sleek Greek Hajapanos. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you enjoyed this Week 12 special edition from somewhere unknown in some corner of this house. All right, thank you guys. I will see you next week for Week 13.